When you're the top guy, everybody wants your spot. My name is Logan Wolfe. Everybody calls me Wolverine. They say it's because I got that X factor. I'm from Marion, South Carolina. Now, if you ain't from here or ain't ever been to Myrtle Beach, then you've probably never heard of it, and we like it that way. True underdogs. But the problem with small towns is that it's easier for your demons to catch up to you. See, I was the top ranked corner in the nation heading into my senior year, but hanging with the wrong crowd, I'd end up getting suspended for my senior season and losing all my scholarships. A wise man once said, Hennessy and enemies is one hell of a mixture. Now, I don't know if I had a guardian angel or what, but I got reinstated just in time for a last minute Marion High playoff run. We'd come in as the bottom seed, and I'd need to show everyone who counted me out why that was a big mistake. I'd come out in this first round matchup against North Myrtle, running sideline to sideline, making big plays at the line of scrimmage. We would dominate this game, and on this second quarter interception, I'd read it perfectly, and I'd try to channel my inner Reggie Bush and pitch it back to a teammate, but he'd drop it and ruin my highlight play. Myrtle would make a late push, but we'd get this pass breakup on fourth down late in the game to close the door on any comeback attempt. In the second round, we faced a tough Manning High. We were down most of this game, but the quarterback threw the ball right to me on this play to get us right back into it. We'd go to double overtime, and on fourth down, I had a chance to seal the game, but I would overplay this corner route and give up a tying score. We'd hold them to a field goal on the next drive, and luckily our offense came ready to play, and they regained the lead, and we squeaked out with a one-score victory. In round 3, we faced a run-happy quarterback from Greenwood, and I had to let him know early on that that wasn't going to fly, as we lined up this big hit to force the fumble. Our defense dominated this game, and we had these receivers locked up. And late in the game, I read this curl route perfectly and got my first interception of the game to seal up a huge victory and book our trip to the title game. Coming into this title game against Red Bank, I couldn't help but feel overwhelmed with emotion. Growing up in South Carolina, it's every kid's dream to play for Clemson, and being so close to my dream, but so far at the same time, I was feeling anger. I mean, we're in the championship game and I still have no scholarship offers. I'm very well possibly playing my last game. And if that's the case, I got to give it everything I have and leave my mark. Red Bank posted a powerful offense, but this was a defensive game. We were going back and forth with field position. Now, corners get a bad rep with playing the run, but I take pride in my tackling abilities, having no problem coming up and laying the boom. I spent a lot of time during my suspension mastering route concepts, and on this second down, I'd bait the man coverage on the outside receiver and break to the sideline just in time for the interception on the corner route. We wouldn't do anything with that momentum swing, and late in the fourth, Red Bank, only down by 8, would find themselves on a potential game-tying drive. We couldn't make a stop, and they would get all the way inside the 5 with 4 chances at a score. After a couple stops, it was fourth down. I had the wide side of the field, and I was lined up over the tight end. I knew they were looking for a drag here from the receiver, and they did exactly that, and he dropped the pass, and I scooped it up and took it all the way to the house for the game-winning touchdown. Coach told me, coming into this postseason, that I'd be the difference in whether or not we won a championship, and he was right with me saving my best performance for last. But even amidst all that joy, I was still left without a home to play football the next year. I was already a legend in my city, but it wasn't enough. I wasn't ready to be done with football, and I wouldn't have to be. I got a call from Coach Dion asking me to come play for Jackson State, an HBCU in Mississippi with a growing buzz around its football program. Seeing as Primetime has always been my idol, I packed my bags without question. Now, Prime has always seen the best in kids, and I guess he saw something in me as well, because I'd be named the starting corner going into week 1. And I'd have to show the world, once again, why they made a mistake in sleeping on me. We'd start the season against FCS East, and I would get popped on the opening kickoff, my first taste of collegiate action. That would shake all my pregame jitters, and I'd be ready to ball. And the action would come quick as we raced to the sideline and popped the running back for a 3-yard loss on this next play. Now, I knew I needed to make a big play in week 1 to solidify myself as a key fixture on this defense, and on this 2nd and 11, I'd read the running back coming out of the backfield, and I'd get the toe tap interception on the sideline. I'm fired up at this point. I'd come out in the second quarter trying to bait the QB into throwing my way again, and he would dot me over the top for a huge 56-yard gain to his receiver. Now, I'd more than make up for that though, 2 plays later as I would read the read option and lay the lumber on the quarterback, forcing the fumble and giving the ball back to our offense. We were all over the field in this game, and we even got ourselves a sack before this game was done with, and my first game stat line was looking crazy. Now, Coach Prime is a legend, and he's turned Jackson State into a powerhouse, and with his reputation comes some perks. So even though we're an FCS school, Coach Prime brokered a deal that would allow us to play a MAC schedule while still representing the SWAC. So we'd come out in week 2 against our first official conference opponent in Bowling Green. Our defense was once again active in this game, swarming to the QB and making him rush his throws. Even with all that, we still entered the second quarter down by 7, but a big kick return would set up the offense to score. And knowing we needed a play to get back in this game, we would sit on this route and get the interception and take it down all the way inside the 5-yard line. The game stayed neck and neck all the way through the third, with Bowling Green making some big plays against our secondary. But we'd effectively put this game away early in the fourth as we read this flat route and got the pick and the score to give us a 20-point lead. 2 games in and I'm feeling right at home with 3 picks. Up next we had top 25 ranked LSU on the road in our first big test of the season. But no spotlight is too bright for us as I'd pop their starting running back and force a fumble that we'd recover, setting up the score. And I was lighting everything up as I popped the quarterback on this scramble on the following drive. We'd enter the fourth quarter down by 6 in a close one, and I would come out on 3rd and short with the game on the line, but I would whiff on the quarterback read option and give up the big gain leading to a score. On the ensuing kickoff, we would field it and we would take it all the way to the house, making it a 1-possession game again, but we wouldn't be able to recover the onside kick and we would take our first loss of the year. The following week we had another road game, this time against Penn State, and it was a physical game, but we held the lead for majority of the game, and we walked out with a 19-point victory in State College. I've gone 2 weeks now with no picks, but I've been playing great football. But coming out against Western Michigan in a conference game, I know things gotta change. They'd get us down to 1st and goal, trying to push their lead to 2 scores, and I'd read this fate perfectly and get back for the clutch interception. This would lead to a 21-point swing as we go up 14-7, and I'd learn from my mistake against FCS East, and I'd bait the quarterback here, but I wouldn't give up too much ground as I'd still be able to sky up for the INT. To put the icing on the cake, I'd get a big kick return touchdown late in the third, and we would wrap up a big victory for our boys. We'd face Northern Illinois at home next, and this was a tough one. We just couldn't stop their mobile quarterback and hurry up offense. Even with all our struggles, we'd find ourselves only down by 2 on 3rd and short with 2 minutes left. We'd get caught peeking in the backfield here and give up the touchdown over the top, putting this game out of reach, giving us loss number 2 on the season. This next game against Ball State would be another battle for us. They ran a similar offense and made big plays against our secondary, and despite a big play force fumble in the third and a clutch pick here in the fourth, we wouldn't be able to hold this lead, and Ball State would get the last second go-ahead touchdown, handing us our 3rd loss. We got some much-needed relief against Alcorn State, and even though we didn't get a pick in this game, our defense was dominant, and we would rack up a ton of tackles to get back in a winning mood. We'd have Buffalo at home next, and it wouldn't take us long to make a play as we'd line up in man and snatch our 7th pick of the season on this corner route. This game would be closer than we liked, and Buffalo would have possession late, looking to get back in the game, and I'd get into position and snag interception number 8 and get off a nice return to lock up this 9-point victory. Up next, we faced a struggling South Carolina State on the road in this MEAC versus SWAC battle. This game wasn't even close as we came out and dominated them defensively from whistle to whistle. Now, we knew we'd have to win out to get a chance at a conference title and potential FBS bowl bid, so we went into our game against Miami of Ohio on a mission. The quarterback kept going to the curl route early, and we were all over it, getting the swat here. And early in the second, we'd break up another curl route on 1st down. And the very next play, the quarterback will go back to the curl, and we'd pick it off and take it back to the house for interception number 9 on the season, a school record. I wasn't done yet as I'd take this late first half punt all the way back to the crib for a touchdown. And we cruised to a big victory heading into the season finale with a chance to still play for the MAC championship. That season finale game would take place against Ohio, and we'd waste no time getting to the action as we take the opening kickoff back for a touchdown. Ohio was able to match us, but I'd come out in 2nd and 10 in man coverage, and I knew they were looking for the corner route, and they ran it, and I was right there, hitting double-digit interceptions on the season. Ohio wouldn't go away easily, and we'd find ourselves facing 4th and long with our successful season on the line. We'd get the sack here and guarantee a spot in the conference championship. And in that game, we get our much-awaited rematch against Northern Illinois. This game was all about containing the QB and forcing him to make mistakes. It helped that our offense showed up ready to play this time around, and we'd find ourselves up 26-3 early as our teammate would get this interception and return it back inside the 10. We had this quarterback making mistakes all day, and with the game out of reach late in the fourth, he'd try his luck on a corner route and I'd get interception number 11 on the season. And we'd wrap up this campaign with a conference championship at the FBS level. We were supposed to just be a stand-in school, bringing publicity to the conference, and we ended up dominating the entire thing. We had one more test, a bowl game against Louisiana. We'd get out to a big lead early, fueled by my open field tackling. We made it clear that an FCS team could compete against the FBS and emerge victorious as we cruised to a 46-point victory. This was a wild year. After leading the nation in interceptions and kick return touchdowns, we'd won a bunch of awards, painting ourselves as the next big star of college football. Jackson State was losing a bunch of talent to graduation, and Coach Prime was sniped by Colorado for their head coaching gig, leaving me on a rebuilding team. Now, I felt I accomplished everything I could in the FCS, and I was looking for that next chapter, playing for a competitor at the FBS level. So with that being said, where should I transfer?